Up next on U.S. Bank Business Watch, presented by the Business Courier. Does this young man have what it takes to make it all the way to the U.S. Senate at the age of 30? Cincinnati is now home to the first faith-based business accelerator. And the latest brewery to open in a renovated Cincinnati church. The trend continues. U.S. Bank Business Watch is next. Good morning and welcome to U.S. Bank Business Watch. I'm Peg Rasconi. In Cincinnati, he's one of those people known primarily by his first name, as if he were Sting, Madonna, or Hillary. On the Business Courier front page centerpiece this week, who does PG think he is? At 30 years old and after less than 4 years on city council, PG Sittenfeld says he's ready for the U.S. Senate. If Sittenfeld makes it through the primary race and becomes the Democratic Party nominee for Ohio Senate in 2016, he'd be up against another local man, Republican U.S. Senator Rob Portman. During his first council term, Sittenfeld built a reputation as a fiscal conservative. That image, along with his always smiling disposition, outreach to minorities, and his progressive stand on non-fiscal matters, has enabled Sittenfeld to craft a broad coalition of conservatives, liberals, and minorities that vaulted him to first place by 10,000 votes in the 2013 council race. Rob Portman has already raised $6 million for his re-election race. Business Courier reporter Chris Wetterich covers politics for the Courier and wrote the story. He joins Business Watch producer Kelly Leon in the studio with more on PG's race for the Senate. Guys?
Thanks, Peg. So, Chris, how serious is he? Is this just a way to position himself for the future?
No, he's serious as a heart attack. He's running to win. He's not, this isn't, he's not going to go run for something else. He's not thinking he's going to lose. He thinks he's going to win.
But he's not known statewide. What is he doing, obviously, to get his name out there?
Right. He's doing a lot. He's been, in 2014, he really stepped down and tried to campaign for the Democratic ticket for the statewide races, for the governor, for the down ballot ticket, or for the down ballot races mainly. And he's been meeting with party officials all over the state. And the issue, we have a map kind of Ohio kind of plotting out where he's been, at least on his Twitter feed. I suspect that he's been all over the state, even more than the map shows. But, he's really trying to build the groundwork for this race in 2016. And so he started in 2014 to give him time to get known in across Ohio.
And he's 30 years old.
Right.
So age, is it a help or a hindrance?
It's going to. Some people are going to say, who's this young whippersnapper think he is running for the U.S. Senate, and that's potentially a problem for him. But he views the 2016 electorate. It's going to be a younger electorate.
Yeah.
Younger people come out to vote in presidential years. And they really kind of don't in off-year elections. So he sees this as the chance to really capitalize on his youth and the younger voters that will come in, and he hopes to speak to their issues.
And he will have probably an opponent in the primary with Ted Strickland.
He might.
Who's much older.
Right. Ted Strickland, I believe, is 75, and he was the former governor of Ohio. He's considered the one of two heavyweights in the state in terms of politics, the other being Senator Sherrod Brown, the other Democratic heavyweight. So if Strickland gets in, it's going to be a hard road for PG to get that nomination. But I think without Strickland in the race, there's probably some Congress people from in the northern part of the state, and I think he'll stay in the race if they are the only opponents.
Yeah, well, if you're a political watcher, this is going to be an interesting one to watch.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks, Chris. Peg, back to you.
All right, thanks, Kelly and Chris. The Small Business Administration wants credit unions across the country to make more loans of $50,000 or less to small businesses desperate for credit. Under federal law, only 12.25% of a credit union's assets can go toward business lending. But the SBA administrator was in Cincinnati last week, and she said she wants credit unions to know that loans under $50,000 to small businesses don't count against that percentage. During the Great Recession and after, large financial institutions cut loans to small businesses, and credit unions picked up some of the slack. But recently, that pendulum has swung back. Two Northern Kentucky economic development groups are working with Bluegrass International Fund to attract foreign investment to the region for large real estate development projects. Bluegrass International has been approved to operate as an EB-5 regional center by the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Service. Together with local organizations South Bank Partners and Catalytic Development Funding of Northern Kentucky, they will look for projects that could benefit from foreign money investment. Bluegrass International is looking to fund projects that would have a total price tag of at least $30 million. The mayor of Florence, Kentucky says the impact of retail development in her city cannot be underestimated. Diane Whalen has been mayor since 1998. She has watched as the Mall Road district continues to grow.
If we could go backwards, we might not choose retail as our main focus for the city. It's who we've grown to be and what we've become. So we decided that if we were going to be that, we were going to be the best at it we could. It plays a vital part in our economy. It makes a big difference in the rates our residents pay in property taxes because the retail supports the city operations as well.
The Florence Mall ranks 4th on the Courier's list of largest local malls and shopping centers. The owner of a different sort of mall is all about indoor sports. The Cincinnati inventor who developed the Under the Weather spectator tent has branched out and opened the Under the Weather sports complex in North College Hill. Rick Peskovitz and his wife bought the old Colonial Tennis Club on Hamilton Avenue nearly 2 years ago, gutted it, and redeveloped it.
For years, my kids have been playing sports, and I've watched them, and I've been to every indoor sports place around and some not so close. And I'm like, I've always wanted one of those. Seems like they must make a fortune. I've learned that they don't make a fortune. But it's fun. It's been fun building it.
The huge complex houses indoor soccer, volleyball, basketball, a fitness area, batting cages, and pitching areas. Peskovitz also has a liquor license and a full bar. The nation's first faith-based accelerator opened for business in January with a class of 10 startups from across the country. Ocean Accelerator is located in a former Dodge dealership that used to house an annex for Crossroads Church in Oakley. Ocean has space for each of its 10 companies, as well as a few common areas where it will host co-working hours and events with Cincinnati's startup ecosystem.
Since we're new to the community, it's really important that people know that our doors are open and that we're up and running and our class is in session for the next 6 months. And when that's done, we plan on doing a lot of co-working events with the Unpolished group out of Crossroads.
The space has nautical nods to its name as well as the faith-based nature of the accelerator. The main conference room is called Galilee, and each of its 6 smaller huddle rooms are named after ancient harbors on that sea. For a deeper look inside the renovated space, you can see the Business Courier website for a slideshow. Mercy Health, which operates 5 hospitals in Greater Cincinnati, has rejoined the Greater Cincinnati Health Council, a local nonprofit organization. The Health Council coordinates regional disaster planning, lobbies government officials, and helps reduce costs by negotiating bulk contracts. John Starcher became CEO of Mercy Health Cincinnati last month and promptly reversed course from a decision a year ago to quit the Health Council. Another new local brewery in an old church is set to open soon. Taft Alehouse, a 3-level microbrewery, bar, and restaurant north of Washington Park, will open on April 6th, just in time for Cincinnati Red's opening day. Named after former President William Howard Taft, the brew pub is in a former church at 14th and Ray Streets. Brewmaster Kevin Moreland plans to begin brewing the first beers this month.
We don't do things quick when it comes to making great liquids. So, to brew good lagers and ales, it takes time. So, February 16th or so, we'll start brewing some of our first lager beers, and then we'll roll into some of our ales.
Taft's Alehouse will feature a beer hall, open kitchen, quieter seating upstairs, and a lower-level bar known as Nellie's Tap Room. Well, Valentine's Day has come and gone, but if you're still looking for someone to love, check out a Cincinnati-made app called You Crush. You Crush allows users to anonymously message and connect with other users they have a crush on. The app for Android and iPhone has users set up a profile that includes their location and what they're wearing daily and uses that information to let the user know if someone has a crush on them.
In Cincinnati, you could be crushing at Rheingeist, you could be crushing at Neons, you could be crushing at Great American Ballpark, you could be crushing at all those places.
Breen is a Xavier University graduate who co-founded U-Crush to help people break the ice in situations that would otherwise be awkward. Up next on U.S. Bank Business Watch, a giant bar at Great American Ballpark? Yep, that's coming. And where would marijuana be grown if it's legal in Ohio? Some news now that's getting a lot of attention on our Business Courier website and social media sites. The Cincinnati Reds are revamping another part of Great American Ballpark, adding a giant bar just in time to host the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. It'll be called the Bootlegger and located on the first base side of the lower level concourse. It's part of a $4.5 million off-season renovation that's timed to spruce up the stadium for the July All-Star Game. Several local high schools are ranked among the best in Ohio. The 5 Cincinnati high schools that ranked highest are Indian Hill, which was first in the state, Walnut Hills, Marymount, and Wyoming, and Mason, actually. To see where your school landed, you can check out the Courier's website. Procter & Gamble plans to build a $500 million manufacturing plant in West Virginia, only the second new U.S. site for P&G since 1971. The plant will encompass more than 1 million square feet and employ 700 full-time workers. The facility is expected to open in 2017 and supply products to 80% of the East Coast within one day. 3 sites in greater Cincinnati could begin cultivating marijuana if enough voters sign petitions to amend the Ohio Constitution and permit pot to be sold for personal use and medicinal purposes. Responsible Ohio, a group that hopes to change the state law to allow the use of medical marijuana, says the growing sites would include land in Hamilton County, Claremont County, and Butler County. And yes, it's one of the Business Courier's most viewed stories this week. Pure Romance has opened its first ever pop-up shop in downtown Cincinnati. It's on 6th Street and it's called Truly Sexy. It will be open through the end of the month. Well, something a little different in this morning's U.S. Bank Economic 360. U.S. Bank is shining the spotlight on some of its local business clients. This morning, a talk with Thomas More College President David Armstrong. He's in the studio with Business Courier publisher Jamie Smith. Gentlemen.
Thanks for being here today, Dr. Armstrong.
It's my pleasure, Jamie.
Before we get started, kind of give us an overview of the mission and the purpose of Thomas More College.
Absolutely. Thomas More College is the Catholic college of the Diocese of Covington. Inspired by the teachings of our Catholic Church and our patron, St. Thomas More, we challenge students to examine the ultimate meaning in life, their place in the world, and their responsibility to others. We have about 1,700 students in beautiful Crestview Hills, Kentucky.
That's great. You know, I love to read about you guys, love to see all the great things you've been doing over there. Let's talk specifically about a couple things, a couple changes that have gone on. First, books. Let's talk about what's going on differently with books over there.
Absolutely. We're doing something very innovative with our book situation. Books at colleges, they go up 9 to 18% a year. We have no control over that. And after working in this business for over 25 years, I thought we have to do something about that. So at Thomas More College, books are included in your tuition and fees. So no extra out-of-pocket costs, which could be upwards of $1,500 to $2,000 a year.
Wow.
And so we are very cognizant of the fact that people are concerned about the high cost of education. Now, education is still the greatest investment you can make in your life, better than stocks, gold, anything. However, we want to recognize that that is a challenge for families. So by taking the books out of the equation, the cash that they have to provide for books, we're taking that out. 64% of the students in the country decide not to buy books for their class, and 95% of those students know that it's going to hurt their grade.
It's going to hurt their grades.
So
absolutely.
now we've taken that out of the equation.
What a great benefit with a freshman in college. I know the pain of buying books.
That's right. And at Thomas More, you walk in, we give you a bag, all your books are there for the year.
All right, you mentioned tuition. Let's talk about tuition. I think you're going to make some critical moves on tuition this year.
Sure. Again, being cognizant of families and being able to afford a private education, which we want them to have that values-based private education, we are offering next year. We are going to freeze tuition, room, and board for next year.
That's awesome. You know, I think when you go looking for colleges, there's so many things to look at that specific items like this that you guys have been working on make it much easier for the student and obviously the parent if they're involved as well.
Yeah, we're trying to take that decision of sticker shock and all these things out of the equation. take a look at small private education where statistically students have higher grade point averages, graduate sooner with less debt, and go on to earn a terminal degree in their field more often. So we want to make sure that that's affordable to families.
Right. I think we got just a little bit of time left. One more thing I think that you're proud of is summer tuition. There's a summer tuition program.
Yes, we have a big, exciting rollout. We're going to offer 3 credit-hour courses under $1,000. We'll be the only 4-year college in the region offering 3 credit-hour classes this summer, online and face-to-face, for under $1,000,
so
$999.
Your students or students maybe coming home from the summer? I mean, anyone's eligible
Yes, so
for
our
this, or?
students will be limited to taking one of those at that price for the summer, and then students from anywhere else can take as many classes as they want at $999.
Wow. So you've got a lot going on out there.
We do. We have an excellent faculty, wonderful staff. We have our academic programs are very strong. Our athletic programs are ranked as high as #1 in the country, our women's basketball team now. And we just have a great winning attitude at Thomas More College. And we've been doing this for almost 100 years, and we're going to do it hopefully for another 100.
Well, great. That's what it takes. You got to be competitive in the landscape, right?
Absolutely. And now I need you to advertise for me, Jamie.
All right. Well, thank you so much, and thanks for being on today, Dave.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. Back to you, Peg.
All right, love the enthusiasm. Thanks, gentlemen. And for more on Thomas More College, you can visit thomasmore.edu. Well, still to come on U.S. Bank Business Watch, local startups, including this one, are in the national and state spotlight in a big way this month. And congratulations to Ross Meyer, Vice President of Community Impact at United Way of Greater Cincinnati, another of our 40 under 40 honorees. In this morning's Business Insight, what a month it's already been for local startups. It's not every day you see the names of Cincinnati startup CEOs mentioned next to the likes of Jay-Z, Taylor Swift, and Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos. But 2 made a national list of 100 dynamic dreamers, thinkers, and rebels driving the economy. Chore Monster CEO Chris Bergman and Listener CEO Rodney Williams made the Upstart 100, a list of entrepreneurs the Upstart Business Journal says are driving the new economy. In addition, 4 Cincinnati startup companies recently got loans from 2 programs administered through Ohio Third Frontier. That's the state's technology-based economic development initiative. Rapidly growing Pet Brosia is one of them. And joining us this morning are CEO Keith Johnson and Melissa Nelson, the company's new director of e-commerce. They're with Business Courier publisher Jamie Smith in the studio, along with a couple of friends.
Thanks, Peg. Thanks, Keith. Thanks, Melissa, for being here.
Hey,
thanks, Mickey. Thanks, Rosie. We're glad you're here as well. Before we get into the real questions, talk a little bit about Pet Brosia.
Sure. Pet Brosia is a disruptive product and service in the pet care space. And the key thing around Pet Brosia is that by feeding pets to their ideal body condition, they can live longer and have a higher quality of life. So people can go to petbrosia.com, put in some information about their pet, and we'll custom design a diet and ship it to their house immediately. And as the pet ages, we automatically update that diet, so the product actually grows with the pet.
So it's a lot like people. I mean, you change the diet based on your lifestyle, based on the process, based on where you are in life?
Exactly.
That's great. Well, the loans that you got, I know they are to accelerate young companies. There's some, it's not easy to get. Talk to me a little bit about the advantages that you had to get this loan.
Sure, there are really 2 advantages. The first one is that we had a quick launch and we started to grow, so we were in revenue. The second reason is because we had something that brought technology to the area and combined it with pet care, which this area of Ohio is known for. So we're bringing together the old and the new.
Well, good, 2 successes. Well, let's talk a little bit about what this loan is going to enable Pet Brosia to do.
Sure. So the nice thing with the commercial acceleration loan from the state is that we're able to accelerate the work around our marketing, our staffing, bringing jobs to the area, our technology, our web technology, as well as our operations.
Excellent. Now you're talking about bringing jobs to the area. Melissa, you're one of those jobs. You moved to the area. Why Cincinnati? Why
I did.
here?
I am 3 weeks new to the Cincinnati area and very happy to be here. I was fortunate enough earlier in my career to be a part of the Silicon Valley startup scene, and when I started conversations with Keith and learning more about the product and what was happening from a startup perspective in Cincinnati, it was extremely exciting and very intriguing. So had great conversations with Keith, extremely excited about the potential of this product and the growth that the company has shown thus far. So we decided to move our family from Wichita, Kansas, and here we are.
What do you think about the startup scene here? I mean, it's incredible.
It is incredible. I think it's a very unique position. Like I said, I've had the opportunity to live and work in Silicon Valley. I'm originally from the Metro Detroit, Michigan area, and there's a growing startup scene there as well. But what Cincinnati really offers is this support system that I think is really unique. If you look at what Cincy Tech is doing, which I've been fortunate enough to have some conversations with the leadership there, it's a very supportive environment, and I think that all the startups are coming together, sharing ideas, collaborating, and I think that will lead to nothing but success for the startups in this area.
Well, we're really excited. We cover startups nonstop, it seems like, because they've all been so successful. I wish that success to you guys. So glad you brought these guys to the show today.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thanks a lot. Lots of success to you.
Thank you.
Peg, back to you.
All right, thanks Jamie, Keith, Melissa, Mickey and Rosie of Business Watch First. And thank you for joining us this morning for U.S. Bank Business Watch. We'll be back next Sunday and every Sunday morning at 6:30 here on Local 12 and 10 a.m. on the CW. For more business news all week long, you can visit the Business Courier online and sign up for daily emails and follow on Twitter and Facebook. The address is cincinnatibusinesscourier.com. I'm Peg Rasconi. Have a great Sunday.